What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the ZayMoolaSportsPodcast. I'm your host, Isaiah. We had a huge trade in the NFL today as the Kansas City Chiefs traded All-Pro cornerback Trent McDuffie to the LA Rams in exchange for the Rams' first, fifth, and sixth round pick this year and their third round pick next year. And although I like this trade for the Chiefs, I absolutely love this trade for the Rams because this is exactly what they needed to do. When you're a team like the Rams, who are only one game away from potentially winning the Super Bowl, you need to be aggressive in terms of making moves that will upgrade your roster and get you to the next level. And the Rams have never been shy about doing so because in 2018, they traded for Akeem Talib, Marcus Peters, and Brandon Cooks. And then they signed Ndamukong Suh, and they ended up going to the Super Bowl that year. So obviously those moves paid off. And then in 2019, they traded for Jalen Ramsey. And then in 2021, they signed Odell Beckham Jr. And as we all know, Jalen Ramsey and OBJ played vital roles for their Super Bowl team in 2021. And so again, y'all, the Rams have never been shy in terms of upgrading their roster, adding elite veteran talent to their roster, even if that means parting ways with a really good player or, significant draft capital, because when they traded for Matthew Stafford, obviously they had to give up Jared Goff, and Jared Goff was a really good quarterback, but they felt like Matthew Stafford was better. They thought he could take them to the next level, and obviously he did, as he led them to their Super Bowl in 2021. And then when they acquired Jalen Ramsey in 2019, they had to, part ways with 2 first-round draft picks, and a lot of people at the time were saying that, that was a hefty price to play for a All-Pro cornerback, but obviously that paid off, as again, y'all, Jalen Ramsey played a very vital role for their championship team. And I love what the LA Rams have done in the past because a lot of franchises are scared to do that, y'all. When you are close to potentially winning the Super Bowl, you need to go all in, regardless of who you have to give up, regardless of the draft capital that you might have to, part ways with. You need to go all in, y'all, because these Super Bowl windows, man, they will close very quickly. I know that firsthand, right? I'm a Tennessee Titans fan. We had a 3-year stretch, y'all, from 2019 to 2021 where we were one of the best teams in the NFL. And look at us now, right? We're arguably the worst team in the NFL. So these Super Bowl windows, they close incredibly fast, y'all. And if you're not aggressive in terms of making moves that can get your team over the hump, you're not going to reach your goal, y'all, because what's going to happen is your team is going to start to deteriorate over time. You're going to have veteran players that end up leaving or retiring, or you're going to have young players that you're no longer able to pay because you have such a stacked roster. And when you look at the LA Rams, they do have an elite roster, right? They have one of the best offenses, probably the best offense in the NFL, led by Matthew Stafford, Kyron Williams, Devontae Adams, and Puka Nacua. And then defensively, they have a really good front four of Braden Fisk, Kobe Turner, Byron Young, and Jared Versus. So from top to bottom, y'all, this is a really elite team on both sides of the ball. But there was one glaring weakness about this team, and that was their cornerback spot, right? You look at guys like the Kobe Durant and Emmanuel Forbes, they're solid, y'all, but they really got exposed in that NFC Championship game against the Seattle Seahawks. And even before that game, I was already saying the Rams really need to improve their cornerback play, right? Because they just don't have an elite cover corner that can go up against the top receivers in the NFL. But you really saw that come to pass, y'all, in that NFC Championship game against the Seattle Seahawks where, Sam Darnold, JSN, Cooper Kupp, and Rashid Shaheed, man, those guys just had a field day with the Rams secondary. So we all knew that the Rams really needed to improve their secondary. I thought that they were going to sign a guy like Tariq Woolen or Jamel Dean or maybe even an Alontae Taylor. But I did not foresee them being able, y'all, to acquire one of the best cornerbacks in the league in Trent McDuffie. And, man, what can we say, y'all? Snead has done it again as he has acquired an elite player for, probably the 16th millionth time in a row. I mean, he just continues to do this, y'all. You look at Trent McDuffie, he's one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. He's only 25 years old. He's a great blitzer. He's a great tackler. He's tough. He's physical. He's tenacious. And the biggest thing I love about Trent McDuffie is his versatility, right? He can play on the outside. He can play at the slot, y'all. It doesn't matter where you line him up. He's going to have success because he's an elite coverage corner. And now this is going to make, life easier for the Rams defense, particularly for their defensive line, because now, y'all, their defensive line doesn't, and although they probably would still do this, but they don't have to worry about, they don't have to stress about having the pressure, feeling like that they got to consistently, get to the quarterback within, a couple of seconds. because now with you having an elite corner like Trent McDuffie, he's going to be able to lock up some of these wide receivers. He's going to give them more time to get to the quarterback. They're not going to have to feel like, man, we have to hurry up and get to the quarterback because we don't trust that our secondary is going to have to, is going to be able to hold these receivers off long enough before they're able to get open against them. But adding a guy like Trent McDuffie, y'all, who is an elite coverage corner, a guy, again, that has amazing versatility, lines up in the slot or outside, is going to, eliminate the best receivers in the NFL. It's going to make life so much easier for the Rams defense and defensive line. And I love it, y'all. I know some people are saying, well, they gave up a lot because they did give up a first and third round pick. But here's the thing. It was their late first round pick, y'all, the 29th pick. They did not give up the 13th pick, right? So I love it. They still had the 13th pick, and they didn't have to give up, a second round pick. They did give up that third round pick next year. But I mean, third round picks, y'all, they're not there's not a lot of success normally with third round picks. And again, to acquire a player like Trent McDuffie, I'll be willing to give up anything to get him. And let's Snead, y'all. I mean, he's just done it again. He's shown that he is not afraid to part ways with good players or draft picks to improve his roster. And I think when you look at the Rams now, to me, they are definitely championship contenders. Not saying they weren't necessarily championship contenders before, but again, y'all, when you just had a big weakness in the secondary like they did, it was hard to really view them as being legit championship contenders. But now they absolutely are legit championship contenders with the acquisition of Trent McDuffie. And I still think they need to add another corner to their room, but man, Trent McDuffie is going to greatly improve this defense, y'all. And so I absolutely love this trade for the LA Rams. Get them an A+. And then for the Chiefs, it's probably a sad day for Chiefs fans because Trent McDuffie was one of the best players on their team. But, y'all, this move is very reminiscent of what they did in 2022 when they had to trade away Tyreek Hill. They didn't want to do that, but because of salary cap purposes, salary cap reasons, they didn't have a choice but to get rid of him. And, y'all, they were able to draft George Karlaftis and Trent McDuffie with those picks that they acquired. And, obviously, both of those guys helped the Chiefs win a couple Super Bowls after Tyreek Hill's departure. And so I see something very similar for the Chiefs, y'all, because now they have 2 first-round picks in the 2026 NFL draft, and they're going to be able to, address potentially wide receiver, offensive tackle, edge rusher, or corner. I feel like this draft class is very strong at those 4 positions. And now they have the draft capital to do so. So ultimately, y'all, I think this is a win-win trade for both teams. But obviously, I think the Rams came out on top of this trade because they did acquire one of the best corners in the NFL in Trent McDuffie. And, man, I cannot wait to see what he does for their defense for years to come. So there you have it, man. This is me reacting to the LA Rams trading for Kansas City Chiefs All-Pro cornerback Trent McDuffie and why I absolutely love this trade for them. Remember, y'all, laughter is good medicine. So what? Make sure you get your daily dose. Y'all know I'm going to end this, man. I love y'all. God bless. Peace.